to thank you for causing there to be an existent Grand Melee to play this weekend.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be a thing, and I didn't. I don't know. I was like, maybe something's going on their end, right? Because like when everybody was messaging me, I was like, oh well, the tournament or whatever the event. I was like, oh, I guess I'll message him and see because Emo messaged me. I was like, oh, I was like, I don't work for Bethesda, man. Sorry. He's like, oh, sassy today.
That's what I was saying, man.
Actually, Seth
TV.
Dove said that. He's like sassy. I was like, it's just that whenever something like this happens, I get messages from like a bunch of different people being like, yo, so like, what's going on? And it's like, guys, like, I don't. I might play a lot, but I don't actually work for the company.
Well, I think that it's clear that we need to rectify that. I mean, come on, Bethesda, make it happen. Let's get this man a
Oh yeah,
paycheck.
yeah. Let's get this man a job. Anyway, so I
I
guess we'll
mean, at the
start.
very least, you could be a personal chef for CVH or something, right? Like,
Wouldn't that be cool?
just play Legends, cook him some food. Like,
I'd be like, I don't know. That'd be like what happened to him is like honestly something that's like it's like a you don't hear those stories very often.
going from streamer to like community manager for
Yeah,
the
pretty
game you
much,
love.
pretty much. Yeah,
Pretty epic. It's
yeah, and
just a
like actually
bummer for
getting
him,
like
like the rest of us, that the game got, put on maintenance mode.
I'm pretty sure that he's the only reason it's alive.
Yeah, that's probably a fair statement. I mean, somewhat. Like, I don't,
Well,
I don't know that he's
he's
high.
manually inputting in all of the events. Like every event, he has them on like a cycle that he has like a cycle like picked out, but he actually has to manually like upload each one like each week, each weekend.
Yeah, so I would agree that he's like the literal reason in terms of like him doing that, but not necessarily like the higher up decision that was made to like keep it on maintenance mode instead of just like ending the game permanently or whatever yet. I don't know.
I mean, probably not, but like I at the same time, it's like if he's not, probably his
Oh yeah,
project at the end of the day. Now,
for sure. A labor of love.
yeah, yes, seriously though.
We should have given him a shout out. I mean, just for providing codes for tournaments and just being an OG goat at the game and a streamer,
Just
and then
just for being a
being our
fucking
community manager.
yeah, just for being a swell, straight up all around bro.
I've
Definitely.
always loved that he will respond to people, like not just on Reddit. Like he responded to me on Twitter before and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah.
or I guess now it's X, but used to be Twitter.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's like when I first messaged him, I was like, so like, oh, did I just talk to him? And Brian was like, yeah, I just talked to him. He's like, he's a nice guy. I was like, oh yeah, okay, fine. I guess I'll message him then. So I messaged him. It's just like super nice. You wouldn't expect that he's like busy or anything. Like the way he like talks to you and like kind of. Anyway, talking
Yeah,
about
very
that.
down to earth.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about that actually. I was asking him about events, and he was telling me that he actually has to manually input them. And I was like, so if that's the case, then like, could you bring back like old events that we haven't had in a while? And he was like, theoretically. I was like, oh, dude, it'd be so cool if we could see like odd and even, or like fucking the Arsenal Gauntlet, or like Gauntlet of Champions, or the Campfire Gauntlet. You know what I mean?
I
Like
forgot about some of those. Yeah,
the ones that we haven't seen in like fucking like almost like a couple years.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I remember the last Arsenal Gauntlet, NPO got like accused of cheating, so I think that might be why that they stopped doing that and put that in the rotation. Maybe I don't know, but I was like, I
Well,
know I
cheating.
noticed I noticed that every time somebody complains about a gauntlet on Reddit, it stops. Like it stops being a thing
Well,
because
stop complaining unless it's like the invade gauntlet or something like.
he reads it right. Like he must read the fucking Reddit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's probably like scrolling through. He's like, oh well, fair enough. This is a polarizing gauntlet. Like the Hexa Gauntlet. I'm glad I haven't seen the Hexa Gauntlet in a while. Actually, to be honest with you.
I surprisingly, maybe to some people, like that one and have always done well just because early on I figured out like, and I'm not like really known or in fact at all like a move deck player, but in that particular event I was like, wait, you're telling me I can have 6 Dune Smugglers and like, a bunch of copies of like Shadow Shift and all these crazy cards like in a 30 card deck or whatever it is, like that is bonkers, dude. I was killing people on turn like 3 and 4 before they could get their markets going and stuff like that. It was wild.
Yeah, that's just it's literally a market and like anti-market fucking gauntlet the whole fucking thing.
I didn't even make it anti-market. Like
Yeah, I know you're like
literally, you
okay,
can just
cool, cool, cool. No, I'm just
like,
saying
what are
that
you
like
gonna do against like a
normally
35 like Khajiit of some kind? Like
I'm just normally when you fucking when it was the hexagonlet, it was usually either a bunch of decks that was actually another one that
I
came
remember
in usually around the
people
end
used to run
was
a
the
bunch
fucking
of factotums, right? Like, because you could have so many of them. Like,
okay, you could do that one. There was the cats, like the unrelenting siege deck, and then there
oh
was like
yeah,
the
and then people would
regular
run a
market.
bunch of that piercing twilight,
Well,
like a
yeah,
ton of piercing twilight
because you
effect to
needed
get
that
rid of
card to
everything,
fucking stop all the stupid shit that your opponent was doing,
all
because
the
it was usually
shenanigans. Yeah,
dumb shit, like the dumbest shit.
yeah. That event is kind of toxic, but I'm like biased toward it because I've done well in it, and like I don't know,
I've done well
I
in it too, but
enjoy
not like
punishing.
amazing, but like I've done well enough. Top 100 did it a
I
couple
enjoy
times
I enjoy punishing people who like try to abuse the game. So that I
through
feel like I
abusing the game
actually
yourself.
yeah, but like to a lesser extent, at least in my mind. I mean, maybe people disagree, but
That's kind of fun. That's fair. I mean, that's kind of what I do with Nick Socks.
well, again, that takes a lot more like planning and like execution and deck building than most things that are like really powerful.
Yeah, I guess it's not like Alduin reanimate. Just fucking slap a dragon in the graveyard and fucking turn 9 reanimate it. Good to go.
Did I tell you about the Telvanni Goblin like
No, but
reanimate
I've
Alduin
I've made
that
a
I played against recently?
Telvanni Goblin deck. Stupid, and it's like, why did I ever do this? Like, why did I? Why does this see
Yeah,
the
but
light of day?
it wasn't a reanimate Alduin also though in Pathos,
No,
right? Like
no, that's just
that's
weird.
what I ran into and smoked, but still like what is this guy doing or girl I should say like what are you
Yeah,
doing? Like
what the hell's going on? Anyway, so yeah, you wanted to talk about like staples and shit that we like everybody should have in their deck, like in their collection, I guess, or the cards that
yes.
like you should buy first because like I feel like there's a fair
Yeah,
amount of
right. So
people that
if you're
probably
trying
haven't. Go ahead.
yeah, because I mean when it comes down to it, not every card in this game is created equal and not not everyone's goals are going to be the same, but for those newer players are who are trying to learn how to improve and like win their matches and to improve their rank or whatever, um, depending on what decks you're using, there are going to be staple cards, like you used that term just now, that you want to include pretty much almost 99.9% of the time. I know
So
we each
like
probably have some favorites that we can touch on, but are
okay,
you going to
so
play a game or two, you said, like
yeah,
while we talk
yeah,
about that, or?
I'll play a couple, but like when you're starting it though, I think you should just go from red and then just kind of go
Okay,
forward like that. You
sure.
know what I mean? And we'll just go up like the cost. If you see a staple to mention it, and I'll be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll talk about it
Well,
like
there's
that.
some major outliers that stick out in my mind that I don't even have to look up, and I mean, me personally, like Alfie Conjure, um, uh, Warnhold Trader, which is a very powerful card, but I want to point out to our viewers, listeners, whatever, that in my opinion, and probably yours, like it's a really balanced card because of the trade-off of giving your opponent like a 2/1 guard, and then if you want to be able to like plan for ahead for that by including like cards like Curse or the
Hmm.
reduce one
Yeah.
one effect,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I
Is
don't
why
think
it's
that Mournhold is like broken by any means, but it can definitely feel like an insurmountable like lead or something if you're not running like any decent beaters
yeah.
at
If
the
you ring it
beginning of the
out and you
game.
put like a ward on it or something, like is really really hard to deal with. So um, any green deck should pretty much be running that if it's aggro or mid. Maybe not control, but like you could make an argument that Elfique Conjurer should be in like every single blue deck probably. Um,
Except for like some combo blues, I would say.
yeah.
But
Um,
like
why?
the general thing of the ladder though is that like in general, if you have a successful ladder deck, usually it's Atronach based. So you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to say like, oh well, no, only some should have it and some shouldn't or whatever. It's like how do you really determine like whether they should or they shouldn't? Because like obviously item battle mage isn't gonna run fucking Alfie Conjurer, but anything Atronach based that's running like Temple Conjurer, Breton Conjurer, anything mid usually
Right.
usually in you know italicized uh, is
So
Atronach based.
those were two of like the big three that stuck out to me that I have been using in a lot of my decks recently. The third being Old Salty's Assault. That one's kind of like probably in a lot of people's opinions kind of on the borderline or even like maybe kind of like a they would consider like a broken card. Um I can see
I feel like there
how
are worse cards than fucking Old Salty's Assault. I feel like
oh of course, absolutely.
the people that are upset about the crabs, honestly, are just they're just on a witch hunt for something, and it's there are other things to
Well,
point your pitchfork at,
that's
in my
exactly
opinion.
right. Like that's gonna be so low on the list of like cards that need to
It
to
would
be nerfed or
probably
like
be
looked
number
at.
10 on the 10 things I would like to see addressed if we were to actually see some balance changes, and that's just to shut the fucking people up. Seriously.
Not because it actually is broken beyond
I don't
repair
think
or
it's I
anything
don't
like
think
that.
it's broken. It is definitely like it's a strong card, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's broken by any
Right.
means. First of all, you have
And
to run
the
the
re
shitty crabs for one,
that's exactly it.
in
Now,
your deck.
again, it encourages, creative or like, effective deck building where you're going to run cards like let's say Gambler in green or in blue like the Khajiit that pilfers and discards a card. There's other cards that do that too like um
Alice
Camel,
Conspirator.
whatever. So if you are deck building in a way that you can kind of like get around when you just draw the crabs that aren't that good by themselves, like vanilla, without playing them all at once from Old Salty's Assault, then it can be a truly like, really good card and a really good deck. If you just throw it in there and don't really like have a plan for how to overcome the kind of like bad tempo of just playing like the the worst of the crabs would probably obviously everyone would say like the enraged mud crab or whatever like just
But I mean, in
let's
terms
say
of tempo, like the fucking merchant sucks. Like it does. The stats on it are
well it depends
like
on what
god
you get
awful.
from it like potentially like which you can't rely on but sometimes it's a banger like
It depends on like yeah, it really does though. It kind of makes the whole game dependent on what you get from merchant, which I can be another argument for why people don't like it. But that's a problem you have with Minecraft merchant, not with Old Salty's Assault.
I don't know if you're trying to I just started spectating but I don't know if you're trying to like rank up on ladder or not but it would be interesting if not or if you think that deck is good to like see at some point on the little stream thingy we're doing that battle maze we were talking about that you made today.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't mind
I don't
playing
if
it
it's not good
next.
enough yet or if you don't trust it enough yet, I don't want to like tank your rank if you're trying to climb, but
I'm not too worried about whether it tanks or not, honestly.
we
I
could
mean,
also just we could play a friendly with it too. If you, I mean,
I'll play a game. It's all good, man. It's all
yeah.
good. Trust me, it's like I said, I'll play anything. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I mean, we're at that time of the month where,
I know, and I'll still fucking play anything.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah. No, it'd be a fun deck to play, and also it'd be nice to test it out and then be like, okay, maybe it needs this, maybe it needs this. You know, maybe we could
Honestly,
add this.
I think it'd be cool to have it be part of this podcast thingamajig that we're doing tonight, just because I
Yeah.
know I wasn't involved in making it at all. Well, I mean, other than maybe indirectly, because you said you kind of took some ideas from like my burn deck, but it seems like the kind of deck when I was looking at it when you sent it to me that like our two brains combined would like come up with, even though it was like you made it without me like
Yeah.
directly having input or whatever. Like,
Yeah. No, I'll bring it up here next. For sure. But yeah, no, it's a fun deck. When I made it, I was like, I want it to still be like effective and quick, but I don't want it to be like so
sure,
fucking quick that it's like, oh, it's past turn 8, I'm gonna lose. Like because that's so annoying, especially like since the ladder is so full of shit like Telvanni and like other like control decks that it's like
yes,
it's impossible for you to actually, you know, if you don't you can't rely on winning on turn like 5 or 6 consistently enough in order for that deck to be like as
right. Well, and most people have not put like I don't know how many 300 or 400 500 games or more with that deck to where they have that slight little kind of like secret sauce edge of piloting it that I can get away. within situations where it really should not win sometimes, like just from having played it so much. Like
I know what you're saying, but that was a very roundabout
I'm
way of
sure
fucking
you
saying
I'm
it.
sure you have decks like that too, you know what I mean? Like where you just know it like the back of your hand and you can do stuff with it that other people literally cannot, even though they have the same like code or whatever. Like
Yeah, there's plenty of decks like that. I feel like everybody has
yeah,
that
their
deck.
signature, yeah.
This is fucking
So
awful.
without being in without being in your collections right now, are there any other like major standout kind of like outliers that come to your mind without looking
Are you
as far as like cards that you should craft before crafting other
Oh, dude,
ones?
100%. So, like, I'm just gonna talk about like the epics and stuff that people usually forget about. But like, Mournhold Trader is an epic. Old Salty's Assault, I think you mentioned, was an epic. But most people are like, "Oh, what legendaries should I get?" And like all that shit. And it's like, guys, don't fucking worry about the legendaries, please. Like, unless it's like Onkano, it really legendaries are not that important. It's the epics that you want
And
to
if
worry
you're free
about.
to play, also yeah, save your gems or whatever.
So, like, when I'm saying like epics, I mean like cards like fucking what's it called? Like Earthbone Spinner. Um,
I love that card. You know I love that card.
Earthbone Spinner is a great card. What else is a good card? Halalu Sharpshooter is a good card. Any card that silences is pretty much a decent staple card, but those are the ones that I'll mention right off the bat because
They'll also do one
they're
damage, which is
they're red.
huge,
They're red. They don't just silence; they silence and they also ping one. So like you'll kill anything that has 1 HP, and
which is a lot of like
that just
the
got a
red buff
buff.
is like
So like the
yeah,
stupid fucking move cards that everybody hates and bitches about, like those, it'll kill them outright. Doesn't matter what they are, fucking how many buffs they have, as long as they don't have a loot on them,
I
it'll kill
love
them.
that so much. I
All right.
truly love it.
Another good card. Good cards in general, I guess. Shadowfen Priest is a staple that you see in Telvanni if you're looking to go like the control route. It does the same kind of thing as the other cards, except it also destroys as a port, which kind of leads
Kind of
me
like a
to
douchnik. Yeah, except it
yeah,
can't
which
silence.
yeah, which and going forward and talking about other stuff, Yall Archer is another good one. Belligerent Giant, second best card in the game. Uh,
What after
serious?
Garneg or something?
Oh, fucking right. Yeah, definitely after Garneg. It's
I
funny
think
too
still
because
for my
bro,
money, Alfate Conjurer just because you can do such dumb things with it, but
I mean, you only do. It's not really that like versatile. You summon a fucking Flame Atronach or you summon a Storm Atronach. It's not like
yeah,
if
but
it
if
were my if
if
I had it
Loisra's on
my
board
way,
or like
listen. This is actually cool, and I think that you'll actually enjoy this. So if I had it my way, what Alfie Conjurer would do is when you summoned it, you could choose something in your graveyard to consume. So like if it was like you consumed a guard or you consumed a ward or you consumed something with breakthrough, it would give you a different Atronach based on what you consumed.
oh, that would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
That's almost like the one ally that like based on the color of your top deck card, it does something. It turns into something different. Like
Doomfang ally?
yeah, almost reminds me of that, like in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be super cool, right?
I think so.
Because
Make it
like,
happen,
sometimes
CEH.
sometimes it's like, fuck man, I really want like, I don't want I guess you could just run Scholar if you wanted to like get the Frost Astronaut like guaranteed, but like I don't know. People would probably just hate it even
Well,
more if it could
I
do
mean,
that. So maybe it's good that
obviously,
it doesn't.
obviously, Elfate Conjure is a blue card, so like, you're probably going to be running Lozra and like Abner Tharn, and some of the stuff that you can do in combination with those cards is just it gets crazy real quick. Like,
Well, Abner is like one of those cards that like you just throw him in any deck that has like Necromancer and it immediately becomes much more
I throw it in
ridiculous,
any blue
stupid
deck.
combo deck.
I haven't made a blue deck in years that does not have him in it. Like,
Yeah,
it's too versatile.
he's a great card.
And
Anyway,
then we talked about old Salty's Assault, so you have Automaton, which counts as anything, so you can
I don't
consume that without even having to have
what
an
what I
Atronach
will
in your
say
like.
is that there are people that actually really do dislike those cards. So I'm not going to push Old Salty's Assault on anybody. But I would encourage
Oh,
everybody
we're
to at
not
least
pushing these
try
cards
it.
on you.
I would encourage you to try it at least once. And some people don't fucking like the crabs. They're like the crabs suck, and it's like yes, okay, they're not that strong. I understand, but they don't suck. Like they're not horrible, but they're not fucking overpowered like everybody fucking that doesn't like the crabs claims them out to be like. And you don't have to just play them in green and yellow or whatever the fuck else everybody else says. Like, Warlock is good at the game. He's a smart guy, but he says, only green or yellow for crabs. No, fucking play them in
What?
whatever you want. Play them in whatever you want. Like,
That makes no sense.
well, it does actually make
Dude,
sense. Yellow buffs and green buffs also, but it's not the point. The point is you can play them in
I
whatever the
mean,
fuck you
red
want.
red has ways of buffing.
It has synergy that goes with it as well, is what you're saying, and yes, it does. But I'm just saying that
Well, no,
that's what
literally,
he
like
said.
Orc Clan Captain buffs them,
Yeah, but I'm
and
talking like
there's
fucking like actual like the Spriggan or like Fervor, like actual board buffs. Or Clan Captain's more like a lane buff, and it wouldn't even buff
well,
the
they
whole
have
the
that
whole.
other orc that can, I don't know.
Anyway,
I mean, I ran them
I don't
in
I
lots of
don't
different things.
necessarily agree with him either, and that's fine. And it's not that I have anything against Warlock in particular. I
Not
just
me
don't
either.
agree with that particular statement of the whole has to be in blue or has to be in green or red or
Even if they
sorry,
don't
green or
get
yellow.
buffed, you're summoning 4 creatures for
I
5
think he just
magicka
does.
and one card,
I think he just doesn't like the idea of cheap creatures being spammed for 5 mana. So he just doesn't like the card.
which is fair. Like, but it's not like there's no counterplay or there's no answer. Like Ice Storm still wipes the board clean
Dude,
for
fucking
anyone.
Hive Defender. Fucking Hive Defender. Dark Guardian, for God's sake. Like, let's be honest, man. Like, just a decent guard in front of him, it'll stop them.
Right. Also the spell sword one, Emperor's Blade or whatever. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's another one. I mean, it
or the
doesn't
yellow
kill them
one, the 5
all.
cost. Like for the same magicka, you can get that
Phalang-
spear guy, the Phalanx
Phalanx,
Exemplar,
yeah.
like 5/6 and guard. Like
Big and swinging. I feel like this guy's probably Dwemer.
that name makes me laugh every
I
time.
actually really like that name. I do. Definitely
I don't
clever.
know if he's going for like an innuendo or like an in-game like reference or
It's
like.
definitely an in-game reference. He probably like used to play Magic or something.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But yeah, no,
Well, I
it's
mean,
super
swinging
funny.
face, like also just for legends, but
That's exactly like no, that's what I'm saying. He used to be probably used to play Magic. It's where the whole thing comes from. That term, like "I'm swinging face," like that's a Magic term for sure.
right on. I love Relentless Raider. I
I
really
do
do.
too, but I feel like I throw them out too early, and like sometimes I keep them too long, and I hold on to them for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I
Because like
died to someone you would be happy to hear a few days ago who was playing like a Wisp Mother
hell
um,
yeah,
Relentless Raider, but they also ran that Dwemer that when it dies, you draw 3 random 1 costs from your deck, and I'm pretty sure those were the only 1 drops. So he like tutored it, and I had no idea what he was planning to
what
do there. But then he,
do you remember what their name was? Because they might have gotten that list from me.
no, I don't. But
Maybe
so do you run that brass Arbus
Arquebus,
Square or whatever? Yeah.
Arquebus. Yeah, I've done it in a couple of them in the past. Every time I make a Wisp Mother deck with the Raiders and stuff, it's always like a different one. Sometimes I have Path
I
Mage, sometimes I don't have Path Mage. Sometimes I
I
fucking
had
add
never
Red Year.
yeah, I had never heard you mention that card in particular in regards to that deck, so I was like, man, that's an interesting way of like making sure that you find, all 3 of them or whatever.
I actually really like that card in general. I think it has a lot of like extra like cool uses that I don't know. It
Yeah,
has
but
a
no
lot
one
of
runs it, so
unlocked potential. Uh,
yes. That
like
kind of made me realize it.
it's a funny card to use with something like say Dragon Cultist Ghost, like or Gearwork Spider is another good one. Or the Bandari. Ungolem obviously benefits from that card as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of cards that definitely benefit from Arquebus, but it's not a card that you see every day. I think last time I saw it, it was
Well,
in
it's what
Dagoth.
like six magicka for 3/3 body or something like that.
Yeah, it's a trash body. I mean, on par with Alfiq, but it doesn't give you the actual Afternock as well.
Well, Elfiq, for those that have been around, for a while, used to be a 3/4 guard back in the Dizzle.
Back in the Disney, yeah, 3/4. I don't know. I feel like that would be by today's standards, like and everything that we have nowadays on the ladder. I don't think that 3/4 would be like too like crazy overpowered, to be honest.
I mean, then it doesn't die to Ice Storm. Um, I don't know.
That's like
They
the only
nerfed it
thing
for a
that I can
reason,
think
but
of. I feel like they nerfed it at the same time that they nerfed Luzra, so like there's probably something there too, honestly.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, everyone was going for that, that combo play, like insanity. Because back then it was like, did
it
she
was
give
huge.
2/2?
Yeah, it was huge.
So yeah, you were getting a 5/6 guard summoning a 9/7 ward Atronek. And then Lizard herself would be what, like a 4 or 5? There is, like, outside of Dawn's Wrath, like, there's not a way around that. Like, it's just concede.
Yeah. I don't know, kind of touching more on the topic of like staple cards and stuff like that.
Yes.
Uh, you have cards like obviously like this one here that I'm facing against, the or fighting against right now, the Golden
Good
Initiate.
call. Yeah.
That's just a
So
staple
hard to
yellow
deal with
card. That's just a staple
for
yellow card
aggro.
in general. It's a prophecy. It's 3/3 drain. So normally though, what'll happen is if you're playing aggro, you'll break their last rune. This fucking thing will come out and you'll lose the game.
Or their first rune and you'll concede.
It usually happens on the last turn, so you get the whole game in. At least for me, anyway. It's like you get the whole game in to enjoy, and think you're doing well
Gets
and
ripped away, yeah.
life is good, and then yeah, just fucking basically go fuck yourself. It's like really so rude.
Underworld
Um,
Vigilantes, sometimes I think that
I
it's
would
not
say as
actually as
far
good
as
as, like,
I would say as
I
far as
think it is.
red is concerned, it's definitely one of those cards that you want to have, but it's not like you don't see it as often as you see Cliff Racer in green,
Right,
for
because it has
instance.
better stats, but, like, that game we had earlier today is reminded me of how good it can actually be sometimes, just the
Man,
effect
that
of,
was
like
so fucking dumb. I don't even want to talk about that. That's fucking made
I'm
me
sorry to
so
bring it up.
That fucking made me so mad, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you just
figured I should
had to
just not
have
say
it.
anything.
It's like you just had to fucking have it. Like, anyway, for those of you who
Well,
don't know, basically we played a game earlier on the ladder, and I was like, okay, basically I was like, I need fucking cards in my hand. I had two gamblers, and I was like, I'm not gonna do them separate turns because they always get fucking destroyed on separate turns. I was like, maybe if I do them both at once. So I did them both at once, and he's like, Underworld Vigilante, and he took the cover off of both of them and killed them both. And I was just like, that is so fucking dumb, dude. Like, oh, I was so mad. It literally cost me the game. I was close to making a comeback a little
uh,
tiny bit at the end, and then it was just like, no, not really.
well, because I've been feeling recently like, man, with one health, it's so easy to kill. Like, it's so much worse than Cliff Racer. But then it
It
reminded me
is.
that situationally, like, it can be so good because they can try to hide stuff in the shadow lane, and then you're like, nope. Not even like gamblers normally, but like for me, it's
Usually
so
just
hard
something
to
with
have.
drain.
Right, initiate. They put two of those in shadow lane, and then reveal yourself and meet your doom. Which, I mean, most people would just go face. They would not trade that.
God, that's
But
rough.
like, I
Oh
find
man.
myself with my burn battle mage having to make a lot of trades and kind of like play the longer game, even though you'd think it's such a hyper fast deck trying to win by like turn whatever.
Well, I mean, it can be, but it's definitely there's a time and a place for it to do that. Like, you don't just
Yes.
like face all the time and like, oh, they have drain creatures hanging around. Like, you're fighting yourself at the end of the day. Like, what are you doing? Not killing this drain creature. It's literally every time you attack, it's just gaining health.
Well, a different game that we played recently, I don't remember if it was today or not,
All right,
when
this
I could have
fucking guy
just
can have it.
most people would have like targeted your face with um the bottle or whatever, the crushing blow.
Okay, no, that's not true. That's a bad example.
You
That's a
think
bad
so?
example. I think it's a bad example. You see a prow smuggler on the board, you're gonna kill it. Like that's a go to kill card for me, 100%.
When you're playing like aggro though, and like you're ahead and your deck is designed to just pound
You
face,
only
like
have to lose to that card once. Let's just put it that
that's
way.
that's true. There are certain cards like what, like Fifth Legion Trainer, or cards that can like pilfer and summon a
Uh,
recruit that if you leave them on the board long term,
Unstable
yeah,
Madman is like
there's
number
certain
one.
cards that it's like, okay, drop everything you're doing and eliminate that any way possible. I don't know if you'd consider it one, but that yellow 1/1 that gets keywords and gets +1/1, if you leave it
The
on
one
the
that
board
gets
for a
ward
while,
first every time.
every single time, dude. Unless they need drain. I mean, it gets whatever they need, really, but
Yeah, no, that Alkosh, descendant of Alkosh. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a definite kill on site. Another good one. Pretty much any of those stupid fucking yellow cards that are like underneath to attack that can get like stupid good with unicorn here.
Oh yeah.
Basically, any of those like cats. Like Rebel Warden needs to
All the
die.
cats.
Rebel Warden needs to die. I mean, not so much like Marked
Those
Man and
pilfer
shit.
decks are insane, bro. They can get out of control really quick.
Yeah, they get out of hand in a fucking hurry, man. Big hurry.
Trying to look through my collection now and see. It's not a full collection yet, but see cards that we might consider staples. Would you consider Morkel Gatekeeper like a staple-ish card or no?
I mean, it's a card. Okay, I don't think it. Let me just ask you this. This is actually a conversation I had with Aura at one point, and he was telling me how he doesn't think that More Cool Gatekeeper is a good card. I was like, you know what? It's not a great card. I was like, but it's only really used in decks because it has prophecy, and I think that's the truth. So, what do you
Well,
think? Do you think that More Cool Gatekeeper would be used in your deck if it didn't have prophecy, or would you find something else to fill that slot?
it depends on the deck because some
Okay, you're
decks
gonna
when I'm
say that.
looking
I
for
know that, but like, I mean, in general, would you put it in like the
well,
decks that you
let
have it in,
me
like across the board?
part of the reason I like that card is because I really like cards that like give me choices and give me options like in different ways, whether it be to assign the stats to different creatures, like or to itself.
Yeah,
Um,
I get that.
and it's not quite the same as the Death Hound in purple, where you can assign not just stats but also guard to different
I,
creatures. Like
yeah, that card
but
is by
cards like
the
that,
shout out to
like
Skin Town, by the way. Base card,
yes.
definitely a staple.
So cards, I think like the more you can open up your options and your choices, like the better your deck is going to be and the better your games are going to go. Like you want to have as many options and like I don't know, backdoors built in for as many situations as possible because one thing that anyone who plays ladder knows is that you're going to find yourself in some wild situations on the regular like and
And
it helps to have
important to
cards
note.
that can, yeah.
It's important to note too that like unlike other games like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, like this game doesn't have a side deck. So having cards that have options like the ones he's mentioning there. Same thing with like Shadowfen Priest and Belligerent Giant and like
Exactly. Cards that do
those.
more than one thing
Yeah, like Dushnika Yell Archer,
for you.
same thing,
Yep.
same idea. But yeah, basically you don't have a side deck in this game, so it's important that you have cards that can do multiple things. That way your deck can face multiple problems and come out on top. Essentially, you have multiple solutions to one problem. Just for those of you that are kind of like newer and listening to this, and obviously there are people that are going to be listening to this that are like, "Okay, guys, I already fucking know that." Like, I understand that too. It's kind of a little bit for everybody, but mainly geared towards the newer people that are kind of just getting started, which is kind of
Witherhand
why we
Cultist
do have
should
these.
should be a red staple as I'm looking through these cards.
Yeah, if you're going like aggro, definitely. I fucking hate Withered Hand Cultists so much with like a passion, dude. Like that card kills like half my favorite decks kills them.
Yep.
But it's yeah,
Um,
it's a good card, and I can't sit here and be like, "Oh, I fucking hate that card," so I'm not going to mention it. Like, no, it's a good card.
some more staples from red that are kind of like mid-rangey cards are going to be Cradle Crush to go with Belligerent Giant, and then I guess Unstoppable Rage to kind of round out red. I wouldn't say like you have to craft those or like run them in every deck, obviously, but um, most decks that I play against that have like those cards, like giant cards and stuff, are always a really hard game to win. So if you find yourself losing to decks that have certain cards, that's usually a good sign that you should craft them and start playing them as well. Maybe not in the same way or not in the same deck, but like people play good cards for a reason because they're good and they help you win. And if
Yeah.
you're trying to win, then
At the very
craft those
least,
cards and
hopefully you can learn how to beat it. At the very least,
yeah, for sure. Know thine enemy. The first rule of war.
sure, this guy is going to beat me too. Of
Okay,
course.
moving on to blue Shrieking Harpy,
Oh, definitely,
staple card.
100%. I put three Shrieking Harpy in every single blue deck I have.
It's just too good not to, like,
It's
especially on
one of
prophecy,
those.
but I
It's
mean,
one of those kind of cards. Like, yeah, even if you
yep,
don't profit out, like, it's a great card to have. Especially like obviously like I've talked about earlier in earlier videos, but Shackle gets stronger as the game goes on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just a good card to have in general. It comes in clutch in so many stupid situations, but especially on that last rune, they're about to kill you, and you're just like, oh, fucking Harriet comes and saves the day.
Also, for the same reason that I really like, one of the reasons I really like those silence cards you were talking about is that they punish, and this is how I think of it or describe it. Like, I call it like when people put too many eggs like in one basket, when they invest too much into one single creature, like they put a ton of items on it, or they
Yeah,
get it buffed up really big, and then Harpy then robs them of like, I don't know, 10 damage or something for a whole turn and lets the entire game change back to your momentum or whatever.
yeah.
Or
You,
those
you
silence cards, they just remove all those extra stats or kill the thing outright or whatever. And so they've wasted a lot of their cards making this big monstrosity, and then cards like Harpy or the silence do one damage cards can just remove all of that, and now they've wasted all those cards, and you still have all the extra cards that you didn't put into like one single creature or whatever.
shout out to all the people that are crazy enough to run Dragon Star Rider on the ladder.
Well,
I
that's
see, I
different.
see, I see. No, it's not. It's the same fucking thing. They unless they get
But they're
loot.
drawing more cards though.
I know, but
They're not
unless
just
they're yeah, but they lose a fucking huge creature that's literally the entire like cornerstone of their deck. It's like it's a big
Yeah, but
deal.
these other, I'm talking about people who are doing this not because it's the cornerstone of their deck, but just because they don't know the fundamental rule of like not putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Like,
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying it's the same idea. It's the same concept. It's the same
sure,
fucking
yeah, but like that's the point of the deck, like, and if it when you pull it off, it's pretty cool. Like that's actually a creative, not very many people are running that. Okay, next staple, Ward Crafter. Maybe
Oh,
you could
dude.
argue it's the best card in the game. Like,
I don't know if I'd say best card in the game, but it's definitely fucking good, man. Warcrafter is so good. There's almost
yeah,
never a situation where it's bad.
it's not my pick for best card in the game, but I would listen to someone who's trying to convince me that it is. Like I would sit there and listen to
Okay,
them and hear what
fair
they had
enough.
to say.
Fair enough.
Um, I think Discerning Thief has become a blue staple.
Yeah,
I d-
yeah. I think Thief is great. Thief's a really good card. I try to put it in all
Great
of my blue
body.
decks.
Yeah, I mean, you sometimes just need to like mill your deck a
Well,
little
there's
bit
not really a
here and
whole
there.
lot of other cards in blue that'll draw either, right? When you think about it.
Correct. Speaking of that though, I saw this card the other day. I was going to ask your opinion on it.
What?
Studium Headmaster, I think.
Oh fuck.
But
That's a meme. That's a
both
meme for
players draw
sure.
2 cards, and I was thinking like a lot of decks I play, my opponent's already going to have a lot of cards because I'm hitting their face, repeatedly. So it's not like, oh, now they have a lot of cards. They're already going to, but sometimes I need like more card draw,
I
especially in
know.
blue. So I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if I should run that card, sometimes see how it goes. Like
I mean, fucking why not? Try
I'm,
it.
I'm talking specifically if you're running like a proactive, aggressive deck in blue. Like I think you could make a case that it'd be worth trying that out. Like
I feel
because
like it.
again, like normally you'd never want to give your opponents like cards, but if you if you're planning to break all their runes like pretty quick, like they're already going to have enough cards. It's not like 2 extra cards is going to make or break the game. They either have, the answer to stop you or they don't. Like, and they may even overdraw those cards potentially, which would be hilarious. But like,
that's the ideal situation for a card like that.
yeah. So Breton Conjurer is pretty much only a staple in like mid BM, but I mean it's a heck of a mid BM staple.
Yeah, it's pretty much what the entire deck is built around.
Deck
Actually,
is built around yeah, to some extent.
this is so rough,
Um,
dude.
we've talked about Abner Tharn already. I don't know if we're really doing like legendaries or not, but
I mean, just cards that you think that everybody should have, but I mean,
yeah,
legendary is not so much because it's like the budget thing and
yeah.
all that is important to keep
Speaking
in
of
mind.
blue though, like if you're gonna invest in a legendary, you could do a lot worse than an Incano. Just absolute goated card.
Yeah, fucking Ankano. It's pretty hard to go wrong with Ankano.
And again, another card that you can do different things with. You're not like pigeonholed into just one thing. You can choose to deal damage to their face, or you can remove one of their creatures, and it still does some damage to their face potentially. Like I love having that option, like that flexibility, because not every game is the same, and
And he
not
gives all of your
every
spells
situation.
breakthrough, which is like another cool thing that like
Yes.
it's very unique to him, obviously. But
Shout out Red Year after having Ancano on board.
yes,
Um,
How
do you
about
consider
green?
Bruma Profiteer a staple in
Yeah,
yellow decks?
yeah, I would say, especially in
Pretty
token.
good card.
Oh, well, it's
Yes.
3/2 stats, which is good. Uh, well, not good, but it's good. Like it's it's above average.
It can trade, yeah.
Um, it'd be better if it was a 2/3. I think.
Well, yeah, you that's the preferable, but like 3 can trade with a lot of stuff, even though it'll die too.
Yeah.
Fifth Legion Trainer and Orc Clan Captain I view as kind of similar cards that are staples of like tokens, if not other stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. No, definitely.
And token aggro is like a good starting place because it's pretty simple and not hard to understand how to build and pilot, in my opinion. Like, um,
No, I can agree with that.
let's see. Uh, what are your thoughts on Cloud Rest Illusionist? I
Oh,
run it a lot, but
Cloudress is a good card. It's like up there with the like we were saying earlier, the Golden Initiate is great. It's, when you think of shitty yellow prophecies you don't want to run into, uh, Cloud Resolutionist is up there.
yeah, I mean it's a 4/3 body and it shuts down one of the attacking people on Prophecy, or even if it's not Prophecy, it's one of the better cards when you play it not on Prophecy, as long as you have trade priority already in the field lane or whatever. Um,
As
gives
long as you
you
can
a free
swing,
trade like
yeah,
Wardcrafter, yeah.
yeah, it's
Some
very
people
much so.
combo it with like Execute or the guy that
Stone
makes sweet rolls also, which is
Stone
pretty
Throw,
crazy play sometimes. Like,
Stone Throw is another good one to kind of
yeah,
like
because you could take something that has like 6 power and all of a sudden, yeah, it just gets executed or like, yeah, Stone Throw or turned into a sweet roll. Hive Defender at one point was like the staple of all staple cards in anything yellow. Like you were not running a yellow deck without it. I don't know if that's still true or not,
I would say
but
the same thing is said. Like kind of now, it's like it's between that and Maverick's Zagon Seducer. But I mean,
right, which
they both
drains
pretty
and
much do
breakthroughs versus
this.
guard, yeah.
Yeah, they both pretty
Yeah,
much
three
do the
six
same thing.
body. Doesn't die to bolt. Can't get executed. Doesn't die to ice storm, obviously. Um,
Same thing can be noted about Thorana. Like Thorana has really like unique and like difficult to deal
I
with
know,
stats.
3/8.
3/8,
Crazy
so it can't
talk.
be killed by Spirit Knife. Can't be killed by Execute or like any of
How
that
much?
crap.
How often do you see Spirit Knife? By the way, like I
Not very
hardly ever see
often.
that card.
But I mean, if we're talking about like cards that deal damage to one creature, it's like you got Spirit Knife
Yeah,
and like the Shout, and that's pretty much like
yeah,
in terms of big damage. You know what I mean?
yes,
And the Shout's like 10, and Spirit Knife is like 7.
that's fair. Um, again, mostly token decks. Divine Fervor is going to be a staple in yellow tokens. And then last but not least for yellow, Marak is a great legendary card in like control or mid troll type decks. You just
What
straight
about?
up steal a creature.
No fucking way. You're not watching this game, are you?
I can start
No, it's all good.
watching
Oh,
it.
it's all good. It's all good. I can't
What's
believe I
going
just
on
got that.
here?
Well, it's literally like this guy's got a full board, like a
I
stupid
see that.
guards and shit, and I was like, oh, this is pretty much a wash. I was like, I'm gonna
You
lose
top
this.
deck Tancano?
I was gonna use my Dark Rebirth earlier. I was like, oh, I want the bat to attack again, so I was
Oh, you
gonna give it.
saved it?
I was gonna give it cover, and I was like, nah, we got Oncano. I was like, we're good. And I was literally gonna lose next turn if I didn't get Oncano or double
That's
bolt prophecy.
hilarious.
And yeah, I drew Oncano. It's
That poor
perfect.
guy.
I was like, "Ah, no way!" He's pissed. Like I would be too. I don't blame him. I'd be pretty upset, but no,
Okay,
that was a good
green
feeling.
Shadow Shift can somewhat be staple-ish sometimes.
Okay, kind of touching on
There's
that
so many.
actually, that you mentioned Shadow Shift, but we didn't mention Rapid Shot. I think it's an important thing to mention. Cantrips in general are something that you want to have in your deck if you're looking for something that's like a kind of bridge between like what you're going to do or like. So, for instance, in mid battle mage, you have rapid shot, so
Yeah.
you can break a rune, or you can break a ward with it rather. So you get your Atronach, and then you also draw a card. So like it's a card that does something, and then also draws a card. So if you're thinking of
Yes, replaces
aggro,
itself in your hand.
yeah. So it's like East March Crusader is a good example of a card that does that, and that's good in aggro.
With a body too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a cantrip is kind of like a card that will do something and also cycle, but it's a cheap spell. So like Shadow Shift, Stand Watch is another good one. Um,
I put that a
Rapid
little
Shot.
lower than those other two, but
It is
I don't know,
because
just I never
it's a
run it.
it's a two cost and it's also a prophecy. But I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's one of those cards that it'll do something and also draw a card. Like you not in the same fucking boat as Mage's Trick, which is honestly, in my opinion, Mage's Trick isn't a very good card. But it'll still draw your card. It's 3 mana cost for your Chanter. It's all you
yeah, that's
Chanter of
true.
Akatosh fellas out there, guys and gals. But yeah, no, it's not a fantastic card by any means. But yeah,
Dude,
like
I'm looking at green and there's so many of these cards that you kind of are like borderline, but I don't know if I want to quite declare them staples or whatever.
like what you
A
want to
lot
say?
of people run oh, just a lot of the twos, like, but a lot of people run Gambler. I don't know if you consider that a
I would,
staple, like
yeah, definitely.
Corner Club Gambler.
It can be put in pretty much any deck too. Honestly, like even if it's like a control deck, it's like a combo kind of thing. If you draw the
Yeah,
card in
you
your
can
hand,
just put
you
something
don't
in your
want it.
discard pile. Yeah,
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't want this card in my hand, so I'm gonna throw it away.
Murkwater Scourge, I would say, has definitely become a staple probably these days.
I think Murkwater Scourge has always been a staple. It's a very
Such a
good
good
card. You
card.
play it and you
Yeah.
automatically you're getting 2 for 1 pretty much, like in almost
Yep.
all cases. And it's something to have like if you guys get board wiped or something, at least you got the curse from Scourge. I know it's not like a whole lot of it's not very like amazing or anything by any means, but it's definitely a card to have around. It's good for mitigating aggro. It hits past wards, so it'll kill like a Breton Conjurer or a
Yep.
Ward Crafter or something like that.
Yeah, and then you
Um,
combo it with Leaf Lurker, you can kill literally like
anything, anything that can get targeted spells.
12, 9 cost red, crazy beastie. Like,
That's,
okay, the staple card in green is also going to be Cliff Racer, which we briefly mentioned earlier. You're going to want to craft that and put it in all your green decks pretty much.
I don't know about all, but definitely like all the aggro ones for.
Yeah, I have to remember that my
Yeah.
shadow brain is
And not everybody
sometimes
likes to just swing face and race everybody.
Smork.
Um,
Um,
Gray Fox
Tazcad,
is a
Razendar,
Gray
Fox,
Fox
yeah.
is a great card. It's more of a control oriented card, but I think the Gray Fox can fit in a lot of other decks that aren't necessarily control,
I think it's got a
because
place in mid.
it's so strong, dude. Like you
Yep.
play it, and it's like whatever they played that turn or that game. It's like you can look at it all, and you can take a card out of their graveyard and play it against them. So it's really fun
Yeah,
to
it's
use
like a whole
against.
extra. It's an extra win condition basically, like, 'cause you could
Yeah,
take theirs. Like,
you could steal something really nasty from Telvanni, like their Devase experiments or something. There's a reason Battle Mage isn't supposed to have that card, by the way, because it's yeah, no, you can do a lot of really cool stuff with Gray Fox. Gray Fox is awesome.
here's another one that, like, in the old school days was a staple. Barrow Stalker. Moving on to purple. I
Oh,
don't know if you would still consider it one or not, but
maybe not quite a staple, but it's still a really good card.
and I mean, man, that thing back in the day was like any purple deck is gonna be starting off with that thing. Like
As far as purple goes, you have like Barrow Stalker, Alvelothi, Skinned Hound,
Skin Town we mentioned, yeah.
and then I
We've
guess it's
talked.
kind of like
I really like Dragon Tail Savior, but I mean, not everyone
no,
might
it's
not
worth
be
mentioning.
everyone's cup of tea.
It's worth mentioning. It's also a common too, isn't it?
Yes,
So
Haunting
yeah,
Spirit is such a good card. So hard to deal with, like, if
Haunting
you don't
Spirit
have an answer.
is a good mention. Yes, I would agree.
There's a lot of ones in purple too that are like right on the edge, like your Young Mammoths and Bleak Coast Trolls and stuff. Like,
I would say Young Mammoth is a staple. If you're running like a mid grow aggro type
yeah,
purple deck or anything
yeah,
along those lines, chonky like big bodied creatures,
for sure.
Mammoth is in all of those decks.
I probably haven't mentioned that many staples that are like control oriented, but Odurnia and Necromancer, my goodness. I mean, in
You
any
won't see
scout or
you're
like
not going to see
Telvanni control.
you're not going to see a purple card more than you see Necromancer. Like I don't think there is
Yeah,
a single purple card that you would ever see. Maybe Burial, but that doesn't really count.
I used to like, even though it wasn't a good deck, I used to like running like an Redoran or a Tribunal where you play something, some sort of system in place to make sure that you can play that at like a 4/4. so that you can resummon either like
Oh,
Galen
yeah.
or
So like anything like fervor
the
on
6 cost
board or
yellow that buffs every creature in your deck. The
Praetorian Commander.
yeah, just doing that on a loop and stuff. Like not really a good deck, but kind of fun when you get that whole thing going and rolling. Marco's really good in like higher curve decks, I guess. Similar to a Gray Fox, but actually summoning, not just drawing the card. There's going to be a higher density of like staple cards in the multi-attribute section.
Yes, definitely.
So I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. Like,
Most of the cards in there are good.
yeah, and they're
And,
mostly all staples in their respective decks.
yeah, and there's not a single common card in there actually,
Yeah.
which is wild.
As far as neutral, um, I'm sure we're missing some, but these are just some examples of the kind of cards that are like really powerful, really good, really
that
efficient and
that you
effective.
that you see on the ladder all the time. Like
And it's not for no reason. Like it's it's for a good reason that you're
how
seeing them
about
all the
like
time.
in particular, like you kind of glossed over, but like giant bass, territorial viper.
Oh yeah, every single like you know ramp scout control is going to be bringing that back as like a 7/7 and ruining my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, dude, that fucking card. Oh, that's rough.
Like, oh, I had them at 1 health, now they have 8, and I'm on top deck mode. Like,
Yeah, and I'm gonna lose. I may as well just quit. Gonna concede the
I don't
game.
know if everyone is of the same mind about Wilds Incarnate, but I absolutely consider that to be a staple card in my personal decks because aggro and mid grow needs card draw, and like if you're ahead a lot and they haven't broken your runes because they're scared of giving you more cards, well then they get punished for that because boom, 2 extra cards plus a 5/6 guard for 7 magicka.
Shadow doesn't really like Ash Berserker very much.
I do. I just I've tried it before, like I don't know, something about my playstyle, I can't get it to work consistently enough like you can. Or maybe it's just that I haven't tried enough, but like I
Ask
do like the
Radical.
card.
Ask Radical the ways of the old
No, dude, I
fucking.
know it's a good card. Like I've had people use it against me effectively, but they're the kind of people that their playstyle was more to like sit back and like just be content to control the board. I have this ridiculous like
I do too,
irresistible
man.
urge
I
to
I
just
do
like
too. I
push,
feel
push,
you.
push, push. Like
Yeah, it's bad. It gets me in trouble a lot of the time.
me too, but like I also harness it sometimes. Like so, I mean, again, you should be when you're new to the game, if you're trying to improve and to up your win percentage and climb higher on the ladder or whatever it may be, do better in events. These are just some examples of the many staple cards out there that um, you
They're
should
just good.
focus
They're
on crafting more than like say Gerald Forager or whatever as a random example. I just saw someone playing against me on the ladder the other day and I had to laugh. But like
they
me and
didn't
my
just get
brother
it. They didn't.
Gilgadad,
They didn't get it
uh,
like from a crab or something.
nope, they played it straight up.
They were definitely memeing on you, that's for sure.
Well, me and my brother always joked about that card from back in the day. Like, it's always kind of been considered like a well, and the perfect example of like, well, why would you ever craft or run this is like Blue Claw Matron. Have we ever talked about that card? Like,
That's an ongoing joke with the NPO folks. Is like
like
it
seven,
actually. I
seven
think
magic.
in particular Hermione has a really bad luck with that card. Like she'll tinker into it all the time. Uh,
That's so funny.
yeah,
It's
it's
just
like
like
stupid shit. Or
who
like she'll
approved?
like her spy master will get destroyed, and then like Blue Claw Matron comes out, and it's like good. That's why you don't run that card, by the way.
Yeah, fitting just reward, but who at Bethesda or Sparky Pants or whoever you know thought that like 7 magicka for a 3/8 that
Okay,
has
so you want
no
to know why those cards
keywords like
exist? You want to know why those cards exist? To make it so
for us
that
to
when you're
provide content talking about it? I don't know.
no, so that when you're using a card like Barrelzar's Tinkering and Desperate Conjuring, you're not going into like straight gas every fucking card you could possibly get.
Okay, I can see that. That's fair.
So it balances out those cards, like the random cards, a little
I
bit too,
had
right?
not thought of that. Because yeah, if not for cards like that that are trash, then yeah, those things would be even more broken than they are, and every single person would run them in every single deck. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what you mean? I could just tinker this into this, and it's always going to be better. Like, yeah, no. Sometimes you get a blue claw matron. That's kind of what
and you
turns people
deserved it.
off.
I want you to know you deserved it.
Yeah, that's kind of what turns people off of that stuff. That's why those cards exist in general. I think as you go up,
Yeah,
obviously that list gets smaller and smaller. So that's why if you see me using tinkering, usually I'm using it on like 7, 8, 9 cost creatures because
right. It's
the
like a
pool is
calculated
greater.
thing.
The pool is greater,
Yes.
or the pool is smaller, so the odds of you getting something good are greater. Like I think after, well, I mean
It's like
after
an educated guess, right? Or like a
Siege Crawler sucks to get sometimes, but even Siege Crawler makes people concede.
yes,
you know,
15-15 with breakthrough. Like,
or I mean, Sothassil sucks to get a lot of the time because he's not exalted. But if you have a card like Fear Totem or like Close Call, which I've actually been meaning to add to this deck because I do get Sothassil from time to time,
then you can
um,
resummon him and
so I
exalt
can
or whatever.
resummon him and exalt him. Yeah, exactly. I did that in Dagoth where I tinkered off something and it got Sothassil, and I was like, shit. So I Fear Totemed him back to my hand, and the next turn I summoned him and exalted him.
Were you around in the Tribunal Control heavy meta where he was always like the top end of Tribunal Control?
That was back when like Cast into Time like deleted all the cards from your deck and shit, right?
Exactly, exactly.
That was such a rough time, dude. That was a
And that was
hurting.
before they had nerfed, which they reverted the nerf on it, but like the 10 cost 6/6 guard that destroys
Manticora.
Manticore. Yeah, that was before they nerfed it, even though they now have reverted the nerf. But like, so yeah, that was a staple too in
Wasn't it just
Tribunal
able to
Control
kill
back
like?
then.
Wasn't it just able to kill something in either lane? That was like the big thing about it.
No, it's that they took away guard from it for a while,
Oh, really?
but back then it had guard before they had nerfed it.
I didn't know that it had like no fucking guard. Interesting.
Yeah, for a while, yeah. But they
Hmm.
at some point, when people they saw that people stopped playing Tribunal Control that much for, after that little phase, and they're like, oh, okay, well maybe that was too harsh. We'll give it guard again. Like,
Well, fuck. I mean, it's a 6/6 for 10. You wanted to do something other than like. I mean, I guess it's more of a control oriented card, so it's having guard is kind of important.
right. And then they kind of added a similar card that's part of the whole Wax Wayne, with the general,
Oh
the
fuck.
Khajiit, like yellow that
Yeah.
either draws two or
Queen's captain.
yeah, when that thing goes off and draws two and kills something, that's crazy, like value that you're getting.
Yeah, and you only have to spend 1 mana to get that, folks. By the way,
Yeah, that's why that card gets banned in tournaments.
yeah, Moongate is a little off the chain.
But only, I mean, obviously in those decks, but
Well, you're not gonna run Moongate with it Wax and
right,
Wayne.
exactly.
It'd be a little weird if you did. I mean, you could technically, like,
Hey,
you could
but I
do
mean,
whatever the
there's
fuck you
people out
want.
there. Yeah, you're a big advocate of that, in fact.
Yeah, no, do whatever you want. But I mean, I'm not. I don't advocate running Moongate without Wax Wayne cards. I don't really advocate running Moongate in general, but it's like Diet Workshop, in my opinion.
Yeah, one card which I didn't talk about the first time I was going through the neutral cards that I saw when I went back to look at Blue Claw Matron was, and this is going to be kind of like a more greedy control deck type of card, but like Call Dragon. Obviously, a lot of decks run that are like greedy
Yeah,
control decks,
stupid ass card. I did kind of hate
but it's
though.
a staple of those kind of
It
decks. Like, I'm
is.
not
It
telling anyone to
is.
craft it or play it, but like it is a staple of those kind of decks. Like,
Yes, it absolutely is. That's one
how
of
did we not
the.
talk about Ice Storm, by the way, too? Like a
What?
staple of all staple cards
Talking about it
in
now.
any like control.
Talking about it now.
Um,
Maybe he lives. Maybe he lives and lives another turn, and then I just get to uprising and win. That would be
it's
pretty
looking good
sweet.
for you either way.
It is, yeah.
After this game, um, do we want to switch to me playing or like
Yeah,
us
go ahead.
playing against each other or something? Okay.
You want to play a game?
I will try to move up from number 6 to the top 5. Um, the other thing we talked about talking about was like a lot of people have different opinions about like to what extent this game or like the latter part of this game has skill or is just based on like luck or draw or RNG or whatever. And we thought that might be interesting to kind of just discuss for a little
Well, if you're
bit.
Broda, it doesn't matter. Your opponent is always trash,
Oh, here we go.
and and it and if he beats you, then it's always outplayed, outskilled. It
Skill. Yep.
Yeah, skill until it doesn't matter, until it doesn't suit him, and then it's luck. Always, always, always. Whatever suits you best. So
It
you
is
can,
interesting how the luck and skill is distributed so evenly between him and everyone else. Like,
yeah, all to him, and everybody else is trash.
well, I mean, I it's a it's something that people, have, different schools of thought on, and like, it's not
So
just a black and white issue. Like, there
it's
is
definitely
gray area to talk about, I think.
it's definitely a game of luck. Like not more so than skill, I would say. They're pretty even though. Like as far as like what happens in the game, obviously you have like a pretty good say of like how you play the cards in your hand. But not having the cards in your hand to play in the first place will obviously net you no good. So
Sure, but there's things you can do when you're building a deck to like mitigate that factor somewhat, also.
yeah, I'm just saying that's why kind of what I'm saying though. But
And
you
then there's
can't you can't
mulliganing, and
you can't get over the inherent luck factor of a game like this. It's just the way it is. It's in the game. It's 100% woven into the game. You can't get rid of it, right? So it's
sure,
best to if you either hate RNG, then you try to mitigate it and don't fucking like you try to play with as little of
lean
it as
into it.
possible. Or
Yeah,
you can be like some of these people on the ladder, they just lean right into it and like let's play Balmora Spymaster, Barrels Brothers Tinkering and fucking do that kind of shit. You could do that too. Like and both
all right,
ways
I'm
are
going
totally
to
valid ways to play.
you.
Except I don't respect the way with Balmora Spymaster and shit
Sure,
because it's just not my
I have found a match. Well, I think that
tinkering is fine, but when you tinker Balmora Spymaster and you start doing Balmora Spymaster shit, Balmora Spymaster is where I draw the line.
no, I'm with you there. Um, I think that luck and skill existing or coexisting in a game don't have to be like diametrically opposed. Like, for instance, a skilled player is going to take
Usually have
into
luck.
account.
It
Well,
usually has
no.
luck too.
What I was going to say is they're going to take into account like however much luck is intrinsically part of the game, and they're going to use that to their advantage as well as like mitigating it as much as it's possible to like mitigate it.
I agree.
Um, and that is part of what makes up the skill gap in this game. Like, you can't just throw your hands up, in my opinion, I should say, like, oh, it's RNG, it's luck, so like when I lose it doesn't mean that my opponent was better, and when I win it doesn't mean that I was better. It's all just pure luck. Like, no, if you take a player like some of the greats that we've talked about, like a Thuldir, a Karakonzol, a an Endozoa, a Please Don't Hack Me, whoever. We've talked about a lot of these OG players that some of them are like coming back right now, which is really cool to see. But you give them the same deck, the same draw, the same, set of circumstances, whether it's hitting prophecies, whatever, they are going to have a higher win percentage with those exact same circumstances than like players that are not on their level. And why is that? Is it because they are a luckier person?
It's
Or is
just
it
games.
because,
It's game sense. They've played the game longer. They know. Like it's like when I call
yes,
my. It's like when I call my fucking Doom. I'm like, watch, he's gonna have this, and then it's like they play it, and it's like, how do you know? It's like because I can just tell how the game wants to fuck me.
right,
But it's not. But
but
it's not
wouldn't you
actually
agree?
that. It's just because I play the game so much. It's like I can tell this is their out. So if they do have an out, it's going to be this, and if they have it, they're going to play it now. And
Well, wouldn't you agree though that like just playing a lot is not the same thing as like being talented? Because we both know at least one player who I'm thinking of that you probably are also thinking of if I bring it up that has played for a long time, and there's people that play this game for a long time and they don't really get any better. So like it's not either
you can just say Forest
also
Story.
just putting in like, tons and tons of time necessarily like
Love the
per
guy's best,
se.
but yeah, it
It's
was
like
shitty
how
to
you
see the.
spend that time. Do you spend that time just mindlessly making plays for no reason, or do you spend that time like analyzing your plays and why you lost and making changes and adjusting and trying things to see what works and then
Here's
implementing
a
those things that work.
here's a question: how much time do you spend against the AI,
Me personally,
and how much do you value a game or a win versus the AI? Would you say? Obviously,
I don't spend
it's not the same experience as fighting against somebody on the ladder. Not even close.
I don't I don't spend very much time fighting against the AI.
I mainly ask because, and I have nothing against this. Like fucking anybody that wants to play against the computer, fucking. If you ask me, Fluffy is one of the better players that we have right now, and he has more wins against the computer than probably anybody. But it's like
Yeah, I
when
do see him doing solo arenas quite a bit or
it's like
whatever.
when you talk about like wins in the game. It's like, do you talk about wins as in like wins in general? Because wins in general includes the wins that you have versus AI. So if you go down to your actual your
Well,
stats and
no,
stuff like that,
there's a way to see
you
ladder
click. Yes,
wins.
I know, I'm getting to that. But if you go into your actual stats where it has all the other stuff, like you know what I mean, in your list,
Yeah,
then that's your wins against AI, wins on ladder, wins in like events and shit. I think they're all there. But then if you actually go to your
yeah,
profile on the ladder and you click the little box, I'll actually show you guys how to get there. Then you can see how many wins you have on the ladder. And I think that obviously it's like I value what ladder wins more than I value just straight up regular wins in general. Um, but
sure. Me too.
to be fair, it's like I also have a lot of them. I don't know of very many people that have as many that I do. Like Radical
What,
has,
ladder wins?
yeah, like Radical's fucking. He's only ahead of me by like two k or something like that, and that's like I started way later than him. Like you know what I mean? If I continue
Well,
on the current trajectory, like I'm gonna
I wish
be
I
ahead
could
of
see
everybody.
I wish I could see my old account plus what I have on
You
this one.
can. So go to your thing. So actually click the magnifying glass beside my name, right? You can view my profile, and then go down to the bottom. There's search. You can hit your old whatever. So Euethia
But
gods or
it
whatever the
was the
hell.
same. Well, he's already on my friends list. Like,
Oh, then perfect. Just go check.
yeah, but I don't know how many he's added like since he got my account. It's at 20,000 right now.
I'm gonna say it was probably at like
At
15K
least,
maybe,
yeah, at least 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. So I have another 2,000. So what does that put me around like
17 or
16,
so.
17? If you add both together, I mean, like,
So between this and the alt, this I have.
you know who might have the most is like Scared Crow. He has an insane amount.
He does have a lot, but he always concedes to me now.
Really?
Yeah, he does. I think he sees assassin colors. He's like, I'm not fucking playing this guy.
Oh, you mean like instantly
I've
concedes, not like
yeah, I've
after
like
they beat
yeah.
you. Oh, okay.
No, like I've oxed him a couple of times, especially nasty ones in Dagoth, and he's like, if he sees me
Nobody
playing,
wants to
like,
experience that.
he's just like, fuck this, like he doesn't even
I can't
entertain
blame
it.
him. Like,
And I mean, he
you've,
normally plays greedy decks too, so like it's fair that like it's pretty much it
yeah.
literally is like almost auto win with versus greed unless you just draw like the worst fucking hand. I'll be right back after you use the washroom.
Which, I mean, sometimes you do, but
Right back.
who's Hitman 86 NPO? I just matched whoever Hitman 86.mpo is.
Here's a question for you. Um,
Question for me.
if we're like thinking of like general decks that you see on the ladder, so
Yeah.
What are like the top, not like tricolor decks, but just dual color decks for people that don't want to get into the tricolor shit? And, speaking from a budget point of view, it's definitely cheaper to go into a dual color deck than it is for you to go into a tricolor deck just in general.
Sure.
So what would you say like the I don't know, let's say like the top five? I mean, I know there's only like 10 of fucking whatever the dual color that you can even really choose from. Obviously, there's more than
Well,
10, but
there's different ways to build the decks in each color combo. Like obviously, like mid aggro
yeah, yeah.
control, mid troll, mid grow
But like the colors, like right
combo.
off the bat, like you see the color and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a color combination I see all the time.
So when you say top though, like do you mean top effective or just most represented in the ladder, like or?
Usually they go hand in hand.
Hmm. Hmm. It's an interesting thought. Um, Good question. So the top five like dual color decks that I see the most that are also probably I'm seeing the most because they're pretty
Battle Mage,
effective.
Assassin, Spell Sword, Archer,
Not spell sword.
Spell Sword, 100%. Absolutely.
I don't see that very often.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
You,
only
you, me,
person I've
and
seen the only person I've seen running it besides me this month has been Papito.
okay, we play different games. Play against Spell Sword all the time, and it's almost always
I
Dwemmers.
mean,
But I mean, still,
maybe we play different times of the day or like I know sometimes our ranks are somewhat different, but not like that much, like to where it should
no, no,
really affect who we're seeing
no. That's not
necessarily.
like that. It's just some people just get different opponents all day. Anyway, Assassin
I've
definitely.
been facing a lot of Invade and Telvanni recently. Some Redoran randomly, like
Quite a bit of red room going around actually.
yeah, I don't know if I like it or not because it's like the control kind of mid troll version. This could be a rough matchup if this is like, oh, it doesn't really look like burn.
No, but he is good.
So I want
Guy's actually pretty good.
session,
Yeah, he's actually pretty good.
session. Okay, good to know. I don't remember him necessarily.
I don't know if it's necessarily that he's good or his deck is like good or whatever, but it's like I remember the name for a reason.
Yeah. Well, assassin is a good deck. I mean, like even the board control aggro version is like really good, I think.
Yeah, well, Assassin's fantastic. It's you think mainly like you see Burn and stuff like that, but I mean,
Right.
move Assassin is probably the most popular one right now. Thanks, Rufus, by the way. Thanks for that, buddy. I really appreciate it. This
It
must be
used
how
to be
everybody
like
else. This must be how
Archer.
everybody else felt last year when I was giving out my code to everybody, and it's just like fucking move assassin. You're like giving away a fucking move assassin code. Why? Like everybody's gonna fucking run this stupid shit. And I mean, mine didn't last as long. Mine was just like saw a couple people playing it on the ladder for like about 2 weeks or so, and then it kind of died off. But it's like
Yeah.
this has been like a month and a half now. I'm just running into people playing fucking move assassin. It's like as soon as they play Caravan Enforcer in the Shadow Lane, it's like you're playing Rufus's fucking deck.
Well, I mean, it's not like I am much happier to see move Archer or Monk, like necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Move anything kind of sucks to play against
Man,
someone.
this does not look super great.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna get fucking smoked.
Unless I hit some prophecies or something.
You could just say go shadow because I mean you're kind of in that position where you're gonna have to race him anyway, so you may as well just embrace that.
And it's my name. Ooh, a one drop. That potentially helps. Being able to
You can trade off that
actually
for,
play another card there. Yeah.
and yeah, being able to put another body out in a situation like this is definitely nice.
Make use of the ring for the first time this game.
This is rough. This is really bad.
Oh, don't I know it. This is going to send me packing back to number 6 after winning 2 games in number 5. I've noticed that like I had 10 wins at number 4 earlier and hadn't ranked up and 1 loss. Like 10
Yeah,
and 1 at number 4 and then like I lost like 3 games and fell to like number
yeah.
11 or something.
Yeah,
The ELO in this time of the month in the top 10 is so absolutely bonkers. Like
yeah. You need to win like 20 in a
I
row.
would
It's
like to
bad,
see I
bad.
would like to see people who say that it doesn't take skill to like finish in the top 10 or something try to do it like when it people who are really really good at the game like struggle mightily to like barely do it like
Can you win here? Let's count some damage here.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I mean, you can try.
You can
You
always try.
so you have crushing blow on his shadow creature.
And
Crushing
then the
blow.
sharpshooter, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's your best bet. And then just swing
And
face
then
with
I can
the.
keep my
Or no, you don't have
I
anything
mean
to
he's
swing
gonna have
face.
reach like
That's whatever. It's your best bet. If you survive, then you live to fight another day. The only way you can do it though. But yeah, he's definitely
it
gonna have like.
sucked not hitting any prophecies so far.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you may as well just call prophecies a fucking wash for the game, and
One of my
you'll see them. You'll see them next game, hopefully.
one of one of my favorite like little combos with this deck is Altmer Flameslinger plus Covenant Plate. It's like a 4/4 with ward and guard.
Lame that he killed you. And yes, that is. I like that combo too,
It's
especially
so good at
versus
fighting for the
aggro.
board and yeah, it's really good at fighting for the board in a deck that isn't really designed to like do that. Yep, back to number 6. Out of
That's
the
rough.
top 5 I go.
That sucks.
That is a tough matchup because they have Drain, um, and I don't.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly the reason why it's tough. And you know, normally,
My
I
deck
would.
really doesn't have like any defensive comeback type
The
of
reason why you lose that
things.
matchup is because normally red aggro, like effective red aggro, is board aggro, and it normally has withered hand cultists to beat a deck like.
Yeah, the one thing I do have that they don't is silence, but like if I silence, a drain thing they have instead of like racing them with a burn card, it's still gonna not end well sometimes. The silence is really for like control decks and stuff, not for like other aggro. Sometimes it can be effective and helpful, but oh, this is the invade guy. Darn it! I went field lane first. Oh man, I hate running into invade with this deck. I don't like invade anyways, but I really really hate running into invade when I'm on this deck.
Honestly, like
Uh,
that deck has it has a handful of like really good matchups, but I feel like especially this time of the season, it's kind of struggles because like I don't know, most smart people aren't going to be playing their fucking aggro decks right now.
well, this deck has been working really well compared to my other ones, like the last day or so. Um, but yeah, I mean it's fallen off a little bit since I went on some really big win streaks with it uh, yesterday or whenever it
Which
was.
usually happens, by the way. Your deck will not continue to win forever. Shit will happen.
Unless you're like one of a handful of players that's just
No,
that
no, no.
good.
Shit happens to them too.
I know.
This actually looks like a decent hand for you, though, eh? I mean, fuck. You could probably like beat this guy like genuinely quick.
We'll see. Like normally, if I realize it's an invade player, which I was slow to do, I'm mulliganing hard for like cast out or fear totem to deal with the gate if it gets big. Running execute.
Yeah,
Okay.
this guy's like one of the like dudes that used to invade with like those fucking assholes like way back in the day, like when it first came out. They're like actually pretty decent at it. Like
We shall
he's
see.
not a stupid player is what I'm trying to say. Like most invade players are pretty dumb, but he's like
uh,
DJ. Like you got to give him his credit. He's not a fucking dumb player.
no,
He's just mainly good at invade. But not dumb.
no, he's not. And obviously, when Matt was playing it, neither was he.
Yeah. The thing is though is the reason invade is like kind of I don't know people. Some people are like, oh, it's so easy to beat. Like Hey, no, the people that you're playing against are easy to beat. Invade itself, if it's used properly, is really strong.
That's very well said. And like, yeah, when you're constantly in like the high legends, like I tend to be, the invade people you're gonna match on average are pretty good players compared to the mindless rabble that normally is in other parts of the ladder.
Except for shout out to Alex Fox.
I'm
I've
never gonna
just
shout that guy out.
I've just seen that guy do so many dumb plays, and it's like, dude, how are you?
I
I don't
don't
know.
care whether he's good or bad with his plays. I care that he has never switched off the deck ever, like that I remember.
Yeah, but it's also worth noting that he plays only that deck, and it's also like, how do you misplay this play? Like, this is the only deck you play. How are you gonna misplay that?
I don't know, man.
That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to like pick on anybody or anything, but like Alex Fox, if you hear this, change your fucking deck, man, please.
But not to workshop.
Oh fuck, Scout Goblins.
I'm
Picking.
surprised that this has gone this well. Normally, this is like a absolutely horrifyingly bad matchup for me.
Well, I mean, you've had like chunky cards, like not big, like owned or anything, but like deal a lot of
He
damage.
just
So
never, he was never able to get a gate going until I had already got it to 1 health. Then he plays Invasion Party, which is not going to survive. Like,
stupid
there we
idea.
go. There we go.
Why'd you do that?
I'm still losing this creature, but I could not trade with that Piercing Twilight, and now I could. I could have left it on it to do 2 more damage and let it just sit there, but
Why didn't you just? Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say,
probably was not,
Why wouldn't you put it
probably
on
was
the
not,
5/4 or like the 2/1 or something? You know, to make the two
because
one
they've already
survive.
they've already swung this turn, I
Oh,
guess.
oh. Next turn is gonna happen. That's all I'm trying to say.
The goal
Ooh.
is always to not let it happen. Just end the game.
I think in a situation like that, getting rid of the crushing blow, I guess it's the right decision. He's only at 10 HP, and he's
This dude runs
Bruma.
Defenses of Bruma.
Told you he's not a stupid player.
It's just that it doesn't, it's not in making his gate a higher level, which is like reassuring.
No, it turns
I
the
wish
gate
I had
into.
any actions to like I wish I had any actions or items to like proc these double berserkers that are just sitting in my hand.
Well, he what got rid of crushing blow. What was the first one? What's the first one? Get rid of bolt.
Oh, you're saying he used Twilight on some of the actions and stuff?
Yeah. Well, he got crushing blow second, and then he got bolt first, right? I think he did.
I
Either
don't
way.
see either of them in my discard pile, that's for sure.
Well, did you use the bolt this game?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I
Then
don't think I did. No, I don't think I used a bolt. I did use the crushing blow, right?
yeah, he definitely got rid of the crushing blow.
Yeah, I don't think I used bolt.
Either way.
It'd be nice if I could draw something to proc this one in hand, and then if he doesn't kill the one on board, that would pretty much be curtains, to quote you from earlier today.
Yeah, you're
Looks like
fucking
you.
you're really grasping at straws for that. I think.
What do you mean?
I think that he's gonna have something to kill your fucking entire lane. Honestly,
What is he
He's
in?
probably debating on whether or not it's worth it to fucking immolating blast or not. But I know he
Man,
runs it.
yeah. If he runs cards like that, then yeah, this is not the typical invade I'm used to facing. Oh, he's getting rid of that, but I have one in hand. Not that it matters. It's not like that's the best card in the deck or anything. Golden Initiate.
It's about to fucking make you lose.
Oh,
Oh,
here we
here we go.
go.
Actually, is that game?
That's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry. I was thinking
Wait,
not in terms of like trading here, but keeping the stuff alive. But yeah,
yeah.
that's game.
I
That's
was
like
gonna,
more than game because I have 2 extra damage if I need it. Like,
I was gonna say, what do you mean that's not fucking game? I was like, don't you dare misplay that. Fuck,
dude,
man.
that guy has me all sorts of
A fuffled.
not
Oh,
knowing what is going on because that's not the invade I'm used to playing. when I run
Yeah,
into it.
it's like a good invade. It just I mean, it's not I'm not gonna say it sucks that he lost. It's just, he probably wasn't expecting to lose that way.
Well, he should because he's playing invade, and that's what he deserves is to lose.
No, he's playing Mage Invade, which is a very specific kind of invade that does definitely most definitely deserves hate.
Well, any deck that runs that one card, Invasion Party, which gets banned at tournaments for a
Which,
reason, like
by the way, is not the most busted invade character.
I know, it's just
Definitely a rival.
it's hard
But
for aggro to deal
together
with. Like,
but together those cards are stupid. Really bad.
yes,
You playing another one?
yeah, and then I'll probably call it a night.
Probably call it a night, eh?
Do we want to say anything more about the whole topic of
Skill versus luck.
not not just skill versus luck, but like I know City Toker talks about like every time he talks to me, which is like on a daily basis, at some point it comes up like my draw or his draw wasn't good enough or was good enough, and that's the only reason that anything happened. Like
Yeah,
not even playing
he
each other, just like
to be fair, he literally like the entire game is predetermined in his opinion.
right, and he's not the only one, but is that true? Like, and if so, how do you explain,
If
like
every player is making their optimal play and everybody is making the right play, which doesn't happen ever, by the way, um, then I mean, yeah, it would be a determined game, a predetermined game, But if that's how you look at it, then why even play?
well, no, because that draw is only one element of it. That doesn't take into account deck building. Like if someone's a better deck builder, their draw is going to be better on average, like according to the laws of statistics. Like
Yes, that's fine, but I'm just saying if you have your fucking deck that's already like, listen, you
like
can
I guess
predetermine
an example is
everything,
like
is what I'm trying to say, right?
if your curve has like 15 7 pluses or something in a dual color, like your draw is not going to be as good as mine, even though draw is like random or whatever, like on average, right? Like because you have to build in a certain way. You have to have some twos and threes, or else you just can't even play your first turns sometimes. Like,
Nobody's arguing with that. Just saying that if you have like the optimal deck and people are playing the optimal game every game, then what's like why even I don't know the way
well,
he
yeah, I mean,
explains
just
it like
I
it's
guess what I
fucking
was saying is like not everyone has the optimal deck because there's different skill levels of deck builders, like and pilots because you already said not everyone always makes the optimal play, so that's part of where the skill lies is in like deck building and piloting and taking what draw gives to you and your opponent and the randomness of it and making the best of it, like I
predetermined.
guess.
I don't know, but the way he says it though, when he's basically just like, "Oh, the game is predetermined because he drew better, or I drew this, or whatever," and it's just like, okay, well, no, the way he describes it, it kind of makes you wonder why he still plays the game. Not that I don't want him to play,
Because
because
it's a great game.
like it's just that I feel like he does have a lot to say about it, and sometimes he just, like, do you still play the game? That's how you feel, you know? I don't know. I remember when I used to talk to him, it's like almost depressing, like hearing some of the shit that he has to say about the game. Like, fuck, man.
Hmm.
If you really feel that way about it, then why even bother?
Yeah, I was kind of undecided on what I wanted to do there,
You're not used
but
to
I think
chatting and playing stuff either, so
I'm not. I've got to become more of a streamer type person like yourself. I wish I had ever like learned how to stream or would even make myself do that now. But especially
what's
back like
streaming?
before the game went into maintenance mode. I wish I wish they had never gone into maintenance mode, obviously, but like
Dude, this is like a
I think it'd be so cool to
tough,
stream.
it's a tough game for you. I mean, kind of. It looks like you're gonna win unless he has it this turn.
Oh, I've got him over a barrel right now. This is over.
You never know. Stupider shit has happened.
What could he possibly do with 4 Magicka here? Let's see. We've got 9, 11
See?
on board. with 2 extra from Fighters Guild.
Watch him
If
hit a
I
prophecy. Fuck yeah.
don't you dare
You're just like,
read
oh,
that
it's
into
over. It's so
existence.
over. It's like it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, yeah, there's definitely you can keep that bone bow handy.
Well, I said that before he silenced my Orc clan captain, but I still think it's over.
You should have him. You should have him here. I think. Yeah. Just
Just trying to think of the
keep that
best
bone
way.
bow handy.
As long as I attack with this first, he's probably not going to target it with a prophecy, if it's even the kind of prophecy that can remove something. There it is. You called it. Oh, that's not a big deal.
Swing.
Sorry, it's
I'm
late
like,
and
what are you
I'm
waiting? I'm like, what?
processing
I'm like, what are
information.
you waiting for? Just do it already.
Well, because I hadn't
I
procced
know.
the Berserker yet, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to or not, like as my way of.
Oh, you
Okay,
were
back
trying
to
to
number 5. That's a good place
find out
to
if
end
you
the
wanted
night.
to style on him, is what you're saying. I don't like.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
just this deck. There's lots of different ways to find lethal sometimes.
And then there's the obvious one.
Yeah, sometimes obvious is best.
Usually,
I know
especially if
you're.
it.
I know you're used to being up to like 3:15 in the morning, but
Yeah, fair enough. It's 3:15 for you. Actually, it's like 7 o'clock. I think where I'm at. No, actually go
that's
get smokes.
crazy. It's like
So,
morning over there.
yeah, it's like time for me to go get cigarettes. I've been without cigarettes all night. They're like kind of not
Your lungs
vibrating,
probably are.
but I'm
Your
upset.
lungs are probably really happy right now. Then
Uh, yeah, maybe. I mean, it all depends how you look at it.
that's probably a discussion for another time or
Are my
place.
lungs
But
happy if my brain's not happy? Then it's hard to say. I want to smoke. Anyway, it was nice having you. It's nice talking about the stuff that we
oh, of
talked about.
course, always. Is there? I
Um,
mean, so have we reached a consensus before I sign off? Like, what we collectively, to what extent do we collectively agree about? Like,
the whole skill and luck thing. I don't think
yeah, like
anybody's
what
ever gonna
percentage?
agree on that. Like, there's not really any specific set like ratio or value or number that you can really assign to it. Um, I mean, I think it's more skill based than luck based. But sometimes it really doesn't feel like it. Um, so it's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like
I
sometimes you
don't
go
know
on
if you.
streaks where when you win a lot and you're just like, oh, everything is coming up Millhouse and like life is good. I'm the best. and then you
No,
go on
that's true.
and then you go
That
on
happens to me all the
streaks
time.
and then you go on streaks where you just get absolutely like wrecked all the time. Like you hit a
Yep.
prophecy every
Mm-hmm.
rune and you're just
There's
like, this
nothing
is
you
the
can do, dude.
worst. I fucking suck. Like
There's literally nothing you can do.
yeah.
But a
So
good or skilled player knows how to not let that make them tilt and knows how to adjust their decks on the fly to counter the meta or to create decks that are going to be good in that meta that they're experiencing in real time, right? I mean, that's a
yeah.
skill, right? Like
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying
because
that you
these
can't take
players
luck.
like Ianni or Ross Pierre Dole or whoever, the latter, warlords of the past, they're not just lucking into finishing number one like double digit times, like or finishing one season with one account at number one and one account at number two. Like you can't luck into that. You cannot RNG into that. You can't just draw into that, right? Like
No, that would be fucking ridiculous.
like there's skill, right? Now the only debate is to what extent or what percentage of it is that versus like the luck and the RNG, which are obviously present in this game,
But we'll
as
never
anyone who's
know.
played can tell you. Like
The answer to that is that you'll never know. It changes daily. Changes every game, really. Every game feels
that's
different, you know.
fair. So for I guess to end that topic of discussion, what should we say to newer players about that and how it can affect them and what they should be doing when they play the game to make the best of a game that has some luck and RNG, right? Like
Don't put too much stock in the ring. If you worry about who has the ring, it'll fucking drive you nuts, and it'll
that's a good
honestly
point.
cause you to lose games more often than not. When you're building a deck, don't build a deck that has to be aggro and win quick. Build a deck that's more focused on the mid range and reacting to your opponent because you'll have a better chance at being able to react and win based on what they do instead of having to be the person that's always being proactive and what basically play around what they're playing instead of playing quick and fast and aggressive. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier with the whole aggro deck thing. It's better to be
True.
reactive than it is to be proactive. I think in a
Hell.
lot of cases, yes, it is. In a lot of cases, it is. I mean, okay, look at Telvani. Just in general, there's not many things except for like OTKs and shit like that that'll kill a Telvani deck in one turn. They always have a chance to respond. That's why they're so fucking
True.
strong. That's
True.
why they're so strong and so hard to beat. Not only that, but when you kill their shit, like they gain a bunch of life anyway. It's a whole there's a whole fucking thing going on with Telvani. But like for instance, in general, um, decks like goblins. Okay, in
Yeah.
general, goblins are a very good deck. I would say that they're like top tier
Yes.
almost every time you think about it. You know, goblins are up there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
one of the decks you don't really want to fight on the ladder. The reason goblins are
Correct.
good is because they're such a reactive deck that like if you don't do it's basically like those decks that you were like holy fucking kill all my stuff, and that's why I have to do my face whatever like that's why you made your battle mage the way you made it. Like if you have any
Well, no.
creature on the board versus goblins, unless it has 1 HP, then they're gonna kill it like with that
Well,
stupid
there's
fucking
a
three feather
difference.
war chief.
Here's the difference, though, with goblins is they're still developing their board proactively while they're doing that. They're not just playing spells which don't put creatures on the board.
Yes,
Like,
yes, but it's a reactive type of play at the end of the day.
yes,
And it's fucking effective and it works really well.
yes, but those are like the two main examples of like reactive decks being, really good. Like
And they just so happen to be
that I
top
can
tier
think of.
decks.
Yes, but there's other top tier decks that are proactive too.
Yeah, like Dagoth.
Yes,
But you can also build Dagoth in a way that it's reactive.
yes, you
Like
can.
Leaf Lurkers and like Murkwater
Yes, yep.
Scourge and shit
Rage,
like
yeah.
that.
Which is why Dagoth is so cool, among
Anyway,
other reasons. But
something for newer players to take away from this is that there's a bunch of different ways to play. Shadow's always wrong. No, no,
we're gonna
no,
we're gonna
no.
throw that in there.
No, totally kidding. But yeah, I would just say that don't focus your games around having the ring and going first. And basically, like it's all well and good to be aggro, but if you're aggro and you have no like late game plan, then maybe you want to go back to the drawing board and figure that out because you know I for one I do have a couple of decks where their curve ends at like 6 or 5 or whatever. But as you play more and more games on the ladder, especially around the higher ranks, and you run into like Telvani or Tribunal or whatever, you can see like it's not necessarily the most realistic way to play. Sometimes the game is gonna go.
Unless you want to be legend number 5.
Sometimes the game isn't gonna go. Sometimes the game is gonna go past turn 6, or sometimes the game is gonna go whatever. Sometimes they're gonna get that problem card and like lose to that right off the bat.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Like
I don't even know how many games I've lost this week, like, but it's
to
probably like
last
a
to
hundred
last
or something.
last rune fucking golden initiates.
If I had a nickel for every time that happened, man.
It sucks. It's a shitty way to lose too.
But again, like it can be very frustrating when stuff like that happens, like when you're on a bad stretch of games. That happens to everybody. When it
Yeah.
just seems like the game is set against you, but you don't want to tilt, right? And if people don't know what tilting is when you let it get to you and you get really frustrated or upset or angry, whatever, and it takes you out of your like
Takes
your
you out of
zone, right?
your everything is coming up Millhouse mode. Everything is
And
coming up Millhouse.
it spirals down, and it does not make you a better player. Like it usually is going to kind of tank your win rate from what it may already have been until you can kind of get yourself back in the right headspace, the right mental, space in order to look at the game and what's happening like objectively, not from a biased standpoint of like the game is rigged against me or whatever. So I'm just going to concede when I could have played this out and potentially won, or I'm going to make dumb plays because I'm emotional or whatever. So that's just something to be aware of and to work on the skill of like kind of just the mental toughness required to like play this game at a high level when intrinsically there are things that are automatically just going to not go your way, and there's going to be some games that are straight up unwinnable for every single player that's ever played the game. Soldier has lost games. Everyone has lost games. Like so, sometimes it happens, and you just got to bounce back and like take it for what it is. Like the cards were either stacked against you, or if you did make a misplay that cost you, like
It's good
learn
to be
from it.
able to
Don't make the
like
same misplay.
reflect. Like, don't be like
Yes,
every single play you make isn't the right one, and being able to like take criticism on that is a big fucking part of being able to grow as a player. Like, you know,
100%.
not every fucking play you make is going to be the most optimal, especially if you're doing so under pressure.
We saw
So
that with my game tonight. Like
yeah, I
I
was like,
don't know what I
don't you throw
did
this?
there.
Like, don't you fucking throw
No, no, no,
that?
no. Before that, when I it was like the game before that or two or something.
Mm,
Um,
okay. Well, what'd you
remember
do?
when I equipped the item to that
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know what the
creature
fuck
in the
you were even
shadow lane.
thinking. You were like, oh, bro, I'm just gonna swing it right into this, and I was like, why? Like, it's such a
So
waste.
that's something that the current number 5 legend ladder player did.
That
So
that literally plays aggro on a daily basis.
on a hourly basis.
Yeah, sure. And anyway, the point being is
Well,
don't be so up your own ass that you're not able to take criticism and basically.
yeah, I mean, because if you actually want to improve, and there's no one who can't improve, no matter how good they already are, like myself and Aros included. Like we tell each other, stuff all the time. But like one thing for me, I know I need to work on sometimes is like taking more time, and maybe newer players too. Like you don't need to always play fast. You maybe don't ever need to play fast. Even if it bugs you, if like your opponent's taking a long time, like there's a
I don't
reason they
care.
probably are. They're
I don't
like
care if my
really
opponent takes a
considering
long
what the
time.
best. Yeah,
If I can see that they're actually thinking and doing something, then it doesn't bother me.
right. And
But
so that's something to consider, for yourself as a player is like taking the time to make sure you really are making the best play, considering like the ramifications, taking the time to think through your next steps after that and what your opponent might do and all that kind of stuff. And I'm guilty of like not doing that enough if I'm self scouting myself and like my skill set and stuff. Like I tend to play fast and like I'll think ahead and I'll find a play that I like or that I think is probably the best one. But like it may not be, and I need to spend more time sometimes, like considering all the different plays and stuff like that. And it gets me into trouble sometimes, but like I have the awareness to know that that's something I can work on and then to implement it and work on it, like if I
yeah,
want to improve.
it's a
So
big deal to know that your shortcomings, just in general. But yeah, nobody's like you said earlier, nobody's unable to get better. Nobody's at their peak precipice and don't. There's nowhere to go but
the
down.
only the only people like that are people who play workshop. And on that note, this
Yeah,
is Shadow AZ signing off of the Don't Play Workshop podcast, and I'll catch you all next time.
yeah. Get some sleep, buddy.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, man, take her easy.
You too.
So after this game, I'm gonna go and get smokes because I haven't had a cigarette in like 10 hours. Kind of starting to bug me. Stupid as that sounds.